Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop. Today we're taking a look at WoodYah. WoodYah sent me some parts, and they are extras you can put onto an antique plane to improve its use or to change it entirely, and I really like that. The first one is this squirrel tail, which is really kind of cool. It allows you to extend the length of your plane, and it's a throwback to the 9 1/4 squirrel tail. The second is actually a fence that is designed to go onto a Stanley 140. Unfortunately, I can't find my 140 anywhere, but it was designed to slide into it and create a fence so you can plane right up against the surface, keeping it at 90 degrees. And the last are these blocks, and this is actually a tote turner, allowing you to turn the tote on the plane and turn it into a shooting board plane. When I first saw that online, I thought these are actually really cool. They're interesting things that I would love to have for my tools. This squirrel tail is really kind of fun, and it adds an extra thing to a block plane. Having the tote turner is awesome. It allows you to get a relatively cheap standard Stanley plane and turn it into a nice shooting board plane. And something like 70% of the Stanley 140s are out missing the sidewall. And so there, you got a sidewall you can put onto it. These are topics that I really love that someone is addressing. But then I got them in hand and realized that they're plastic. And plastic is good, plastic is usable, but there's just something about plastic that feels odd. If you look closely, I don't know if you can see it in camera, but you can see 3D printing lines on them. It's not really a bad thing, it's just that they just don't feel quite right. I'm not sure if they're 3D printed or if they're cast from 3D printed. I'm thinking they're 3D printed, but it means that they're plastic. Now, honestly, it's actually very nice nylon. It is very good, sturdy stuff. I don't expect it to break. I don't expect it to have any problems. It just means that they're a little bit flexible, and you can bend them a little bit if you're putting some force into it. But most of the time, that's not going to affect their functionality. But I'm going to come back to that in a minute. First, I want to show what these can do, and also stay tuned to the end. I'm going to be giving some of these away. First up is the squirrel tail. If you ever used an old Stanley 9 3/4, it feels really good. There's just something about this that is fantastic. It fits in the palm, wraps your hand around it, and it becomes really nice. It makes it into a two-handed tool, so it's kind of like a small number 3 or a large number 1, but something that's very comfortable to have in the hand. It attaches to the vertical post, and it comes with this nut that goes underneath the depth adjustment nut. So you can take that nut out. So in theory, you can raise this nut up and slide the squirrel tail in and out. Unfortunately, the depth adjuster on mine is too tight, and when I move it up far enough, it starts running into the metal depth adjuster. So I actually have to take the depth adjuster all the way up and then screw it back out. So I would consider this to be a semi-permanent attachment. If you like the squirrel tail, then it's something you'd have on there. And if you don't like the squirrel tail, it's something you're not going to have on there. So it's kind of one of those things that you put it on there and you're probably going to leave it on there for a long time. Next up, we have the skewed block plane fence. Somewhere in my shop, I have a Stanley 140, and it's a really cool block plane. It is a rabbiting plane, but the iron, rather than being 90 degrees, is actually skewed. So you can get a skewed cut into a rabbet, which pushes the plane up. A really cool device. The only issue is that it's missing the sidewall. The Stanley 140 didn't have the arch on the side. It had a fence that would connect to the front and the back, and you could put the fence on there and basically turn it into a regular skewed block plane. Or you could take it off and use it as a rabbiting block plane. But the problem is those side pieces got lost, and probably about 70% of them are missing it. And that means that you can pick them up relatively affordably, and that side piece is actually worth more than the whole rest of the plane. And mine doesn't have that sidewall. And so I saw this from WoodYah and thought, oh yes, this is cool, I really want this one. But I can't find mine anywhere in the shop. I spent probably about an hour looking for it today, and I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. So it has disappeared on me. And I was really looking forward to showing it and trying this out and experimenting with it, and I can't find it. So yeah. So I can't really tell you exactly how well the fence for the 140 works, other than the fact I've talked to a couple other people who've used it, and it actually works out really well. Having the extra blade on the side allows it easier grip. I would love to try it, and I think that this would be something I'd like. Being held into place on both of the pins means it's not going to be moving around on you very easily, and the plastic really isn't going to cause that much of a problem, other than it just feels like plastic. But the last one, and probably the coolest of all of them, is this thing. This is the Tote turner. A traditional shooting board plane is an amazing thing. It has the tilted handle, the iron is turned, so it's effectively creating a skewed cut, even though it's a straight cut. Everything on this is an incredible and amazing tool. I love this. The problem is these are usually $500–600 or more. You can usually get them slightly cheaper from Veritas or Lie-Nielsen, but the antiques are incredibly expensive. Now, you can shoot with a simple standard plane, and they aren't that uncomfortable, but if you've ever used one of these and then you went back to using a standard simple plane, you really hate doing it because this is so nice. It is set up to do this work and it does it so well and it does it efficiently and it's just amazing. And it's one of the few specialty tools that I absolutely love. And then the tote turner allows you to do that, which I think is absolutely amazing and absolutely ingenious. Now, it doesn't turn the frog like the normal shooting board plane, but it does turn the tote, meaning it's far more comfortable to have that way. It also isn't quite as stable because you're just sitting on the cheek here, whereas this has the whole surface here. So it's not quite the same, but man, is it a lot better. And on top of that, one of the problems with most of the antiques is they're all right-handed. You can't find these left-handed. Now with Veritas and Lie-Nielsen, you can get them left-handed, but with the tote turner, they come with right-handed or left-handed. So you can turn this in either direction. So if you're left-handed, this is a great use. Another slight issue I found is with this on my shooting board plane, I have this track that everything fits into. And unfortunately, because the iron isn't turned, it now rides on that and actually tips the plane in. So it's actually riding on the iron. So I can't use it with the Veritas track with this. I would have to make something ever so slightly smaller, just like a 1/16 of an inch. In general use, I found it to be a little less stable because it is a smaller wall, but it's far more comfortable to just be able to use because there's a tote on here at the right angle. Really, really nice. And a fraction of the price, $500 as opposed to about $100 total. So in general, over all the parts, I am really happy. They are all very functional, they're very usable, and if you're just wanting to get something get going, they're great. Now, the actual aesthetics and feel of it, the plastic, it's really kind of a, because on one side, I really want to like these because they're very functional, they're very useful, and I like functional, useful things. But I also like things that feel really good, and that's, I don't know, it's just I'm back and forth with it. If they were cast out of bronze, I would be over the moon. But plastic is, I don't know. I haven't fully decided where I am with them. So after using them for a while, what is my verdict? If I didn't already have a shooting plane, I would definitely be buying a tote turner. Yes, they're made of plastic, but in this case, your hand isn't actually touching the plastic, so it doesn't have a problem. It is incredibly useful. This is awesome. I love the tote turner. And you can get them left-handed or right-handed. So yes, if you don't have a shooting board plane, that's worth it, because that's really, really cool. For the squirrel tail. Now, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of squirrel tails. I just, they don't fit my aesthetic and style. If I want something longer, I'm probably gonna grab a number 4 or number 5. But there are a lot of people who want these. And the original antique squirrel tails cost, they give this a run for its money in price. And this is far, far cheaper. So if you like the squirrel tail, then this may be something you want. Again, though, it's plastic and it may or may not feel as good in the hand. However, for the 140 fence, I am most definitely holding onto this because somewhere in this shop is my 140. And this is a fantastic addition. Even with it being plastic, it's not something you're really going to be directly interacting with, and it's not going to have any flex issues. So I really like this. If you have a 140, it's missing its side, there you go. And at a fraction of the price of finding a new one. So with all that being said, I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Is plastic something that's off-putting to you? Would you want something cast out of bronze? As well as all of these come in several different options, left or right, or different fences, or different style knobs. So in all honesty, I'm really interested to see where this goes. WoodYah is a new company, and I think they're going to be doing some really cool things, and I'm liking where it's going. I am going to be giving away the squirrel tail and both of the tote turners, as I already have a shooting board plane. So if you want one of those, all you have to do is put down in the comments either squirrel tail or left hand or right hand. Put one of those 3 and you'll be entered for a drawing for that particular item. And I will be drawing them a week from today and shipping them out. So I am really interested to see what you guys think. Is this something you like? Have you tried them out? Is there something you like or don't like? I would love to hear that. I love where they are going. I'm just, the plastic is, I don't know. I haven't fully decided what my thoughts are on these. So I'd love to hear yours on that. Throw them down in the comments down below. And honestly, that does help out the channel. Thank you. Anytime you put comment, like, share, subscribe, all those fun things help out the channel, as well as hitting the thank you button. On top of that, there are all of these names over here. Those are all the fantastic, wonderful, benevolent, and gorgeous people over on Patreon. Because without patrons, or members, or people who hit that thank you button, we wouldn't exist. We are completely sponsored by you. Yes, I get to say what I want to say about this rather than what a company wants to say because you guys are the ones paying for it. Thank you. Without that, this channel wouldn't be here. So if you'd like to find out more about that, there's links to Patreon down below, or well, you know where all the links are. I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. How much yah could WoodYah yah if a WoodYah could yah wood? The Tote Turner. Done.